Check. Oh, okay. We've got audio. Ladies and gentlemen, what an insane day in American politics. This is crazy. Minute after minute after minute, they were coming through. The picks are in. This is like, I feel like this is bigger than the freaking Super Bowl. I'm going to switch over here and we're going to walk through each one of the picks. We're going to start from the top and we're going to go all the way down. If I miss any, let me know in the comments. Starting off with the numero uno, JD Vance. Everybody knows that one. Vice President JD Vance. I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about each one of these things, why I think it was a good idea, why I don't, what some people are saying. We'll pull up Twitter. We'll get an idea. It's going to be a great freaking time. Let me start off with Mr. JD Vance. As soon as I close my freaking bookmarks tab here, high bookmarks bar. There we go. JD Vance out of Ohio, Vice President JD Vance appealed to the working class. Real populist vote over in Ohio. Values definitely align with Trump. I actually think this was an incredible decision. I wasn't sure if this was an incredible decision until I started watching JD Vance go on these different podcasts, having the conversation. Here's the fundamental point about JD Vance. JD Vance can show up when it matters, and he can go flat out for 2.5 hours and not miss a beat. Super relatable, super likable, man of the people, New York Times bestselling author, Amazon bestselling author. The connection to middle America is strong with this one. He has an incredible story. Obviously, I encourage you, if you haven't checked out his book, highly recommend it. And we will, I can pull it up right now, I think. Let me see. Before we go into a million mode here, I'll lose you guys. Here, let me stop the screen share, pull down a tab. Hillbilly Elegy, really incredible book. He just is able to show up, and he's way more relatable than I think Donald Trump is. And I think that played a huge part in getting the election ultimately. Let me hide the bookmarks bar here. What's going on? That's weird. I don't know if I like that. Yeah. So JD Vance's book, we're back, folks. Apologize for the brief delay here. Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of family and culture in crisis, came from a crazy background, absolutely crazy background. Drug addiction, grew up in Appalachia. He was a United States Marine, just an all-around great pick. Lots of conversation here around whether Donald Trump Jr. had a major impact on him getting elected, whether it was I think Steve Bannon was in that conversation around whether JD Vance was picked, but ultimately it came down to DJT himself who made the decision. He shares the story of what it was like to get that phone call on the Theo Von podcast. Highly recommend it. Really, really fun stuff there. Moving on to the second, and this one I think came out of left field for quite a few people, is the new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, senator out of Florida. A lot of people a little bit torn about this. In this movement, I think people are they aren't sure if he's going to be the type of, there's him being a part of the deep state. There's conversation about just maybe not the best pick. We can go over to Twitter here and we'll log into X and see. Let me pull X up on the laptop. But yeah, Marco Rubio came from two, tons of foreign policy background, especially Latin America and China. I think China is going to pose a big problem moving into 2025. So this should be interesting. Super strong fit for international diplomacy. Obviously, senator from a key state. It feels like Trump grabbed quite a few people from the great state of Florida to join his cabinet. What that turns out to be. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State for Donald Trump. Moving on, Attorney General. This one was big. Matt Gaetz is now the Attorney General, or the soon-to-be Attorney General of the United States. This Matt Gaetz is obviously a vocal supporter of Donald Trump. He's a staunch conservative. He's been a victim of the deep state. He aligns really well with tough on crime, with the law and order philosophy. I think this focus, obviously, served also in Florida, lawyer, politician, been Florida's first in Florida's congressional district since 2017. He's going to have some stuff to say. And there is some controversy surrounding him, for sure, with some of the things that have come to light. I don't know a lot of detail on that, but I think it's safe to say that based on people's response, you kind of have an idea of whether or not, I'm going to move the camera, whether or not this was a good pick. And I will say this about Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General. Now, for those of you who don't know, let's go on a little quick history lesson. The Attorney General represents the United States in legal matters generally and gives advice and opinions to the president. And this is going to be a very interesting relationship. This man is he's intense. He doesn't give up. His focus will be likely on, like I said, legal reform and strong policy. Let me log in here to my Twitter machine. And let's see what people are saying about these picks. We have a man crying. We'll come back to you later. I feel your pain. Things are going to get better, brother. Hold on. Just hold on. Whoa. Matt Gaetz, Attorney General Matt Gaetz. Terrence Williams, obviously super excited about him. Let's scroll through here. It is a great honor to serve as President Trump's Attorney General. President Trump says Matt's a deeply gifted and tenacious attorney trained at the William and Mary College of Law, distinguished himself in Congress through his focus on achieving desperately needed reform at the Department of Justice. Few issues in America are more important than ending partisan weaponization of the justice system. Matt will end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore America's badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department. On the House Judiciary Committee, which performs oversight of the Department of Justice, Matt played a key role in defeating the Russia hoax and exposing alarming and systematic government corruption. He's a champion of the Constitution and the rule of law. He will root out the systematic corruption of the DOJ and return to the department to its true mission of fighting crime and upholding our democracy. Well, I'll say this. That's true. Everything Donald Trump is saying is true. The Department of Justice is absolutely corrupt to its core. It fundamentally needs reformation. And I'll say this while we're on the topic, since everyone's talking about it and we're getting things off of our chest, anything that starts with a three-letter word probably needs to be cleansed. So Matt Gaetz, so far, of the people that I've seen elected into the office, he's going to have a pretty big job. This is big boots to fill. It's a big jump. He's coming from he has experience for sure in the congressional district, but this is a big jump up. This is a big position in the cabinet. I always keep a leery eye out on everybody. I don't think you should accept anybody right out of the gate. But I think Matt Gaetz personally is a good decision for the role. And remember, it's a job. We're hiring people for jobs. That's what we hired Donald Trump to do. That's what these people are being hired to do. So when it comes to their personal life, I want them to show up and do the job. If there's things in their personal life that are questionable, then obviously we need to perform the necessary necessary investigations. If those come out, I know there's conversation around him interacting with minors and things of that nature. I have no idea about any of it, so I'm not going to make a comment on it. But this is a pretty freaking funny. Let's listen to this. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie. Yeah, I think that they're going to go absolutely bonkers. The memes are coming, obviously. Shifty Shift says we need to reject Matt Gaetz. It doesn't matter. We'll be at recess. He's the attorney general. Suck it up. Let's watch this. Does he need to be confirmed by the Senate? It doesn't matter. We're going to be at recess. There you go, people. He's the attorney general. There's no getting around it. Matt Gaetz, ladies and gentlemen. Next up on the roster is the new defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. And there was a lot of controversy around this when he first came out. I don't think a lot of people knew who this individual was, other than his experience on, well, Fox and Friends weekly co-host or weekend co-host. Look at that. We're following him real time. Couple things we need to say about this. First and foremost, this man is a decorated soldier, actual combat. I think this is important for somebody in the defense position because he's experienced it, okay? Everything that he's going through, everything that he went through was real life experience. So when he sits in that position of leadership, when he makes the decision, he's a veteran. So he lost people. He went to war. He was in Afghanistan. Beyond that, he's also educated. I mean, bachelor's from Princeton, master's from Harvard, 2 Bronze Stars, major in the Army National Guard, served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And look, this man he's not a joke. I think he's gonna embody Trump's America's First policies. He's gonna take that approach to his defense. I think he's gonna prioritize military strength. I think he's gonna support I think he's going to support the veterans. My father-in-law is a veteran. I know firsthand experience how terrible the VA is. My father-in-law, stubborn as he is, waited years for an operation because of how difficult the VA is. I think he has the potential and ability to reform the VA. And I think this is a really good move. I believe that people in politics should have real world experience. Nancy Pelosi was elected for the 20th term. You people don't learn. You don't learn. politicians that become career politicians lose touch with reality. They lose touch with the everyday person. They don't make their own meals. They don't go to the grocery store. They don't do their own laundry. They're not wiping their own kids' butts. It doesn't happen anymore at that level. They're getting paid $100,000 a year and their net worth is 20 million. Stop and think about that. So the fact that Trump is putting in people now, look, is this man the normal everyday person? One could argue probably maybe not. He's a news anchor. I don't think news anchors are insanely popular, but I think nonetheless he has real world experience. He knows what it's like. Let's listen to this. Unbelievable. We're screwed. We're screwed. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you guys can't hear this. Yeah. Let me see if I can do. Um, I don't know if I can share audio. Damn. Okay. You guys couldn't even hear that. Anyways, regardless, this is a really good video. Talking about what happens when hypersonic missiles take out our 10 aircraft carriers within the first 20 minutes of war. Very interesting stuff. Anyone involved in the woke has got to go. You have to reestablish that trust by putting in no nonsense warfighters in those positions who aren't going to cater the socially correct garbage. There's a chance to course correct, but it would take a new Trump administration going after it really hard. Ryan, how would they correct it? Well, first of all, you got to fire. You've got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and obviously to bring in a new Secretary of Defense, but any general that was involved, general, admiral, whatever, that was involved in any of the DEI woke has got to go. Well, we have a new Secretary of Defense, my man. It's you. So welcome to the team. We're happy to have you. Next on the list is Kristi Noem. She is your new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. I've got too many things going on over here. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Kristi Noem, known for her stance on state sovereignty and immigration policy. Noem would bring a conservative approach to Homeland Security repeal and rule in conservative circles could support an agenda focused on securing U.S. borders and infrastructure. Lots of people love this one. Oh, look at that. Trump administration so far. Charlie Kirk published it an hour ago. We're going through it right now. Thanks so much, Charlie. Look forward to chatting with you in the near future. A secretary of DHS will weaponize federal law enforcement and use them against American citizens. Stu, I'm going to have to probably disagree with you on that. Let's look at Kristi Noem here for a second. I don't know a lot about her. Governor in South Dakota. we can go to Trump on Kristi Noem and see what he had to say. There we go, right there. Great. I'm pleased to announce the governor, a former congresswoman from South Dakota, Kristi Noem, appointed to serve as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Very strong on border security. First governor to send National Guard soldiers to help Texas fight the Biden border czar. Tom Homan, she will work closely with the border czar, Tom Homan, to secure the border and will guarantee that our American homeland is secure from our adversaries. I've known Kristi for years and have worked with her on a wide variety of projects. She'll be a great part of our mission to make America safe again. She issued the following statement: honored and humbled that President Donald J. Trump selected me to the Secretary of Homeland Security. I look forward to working with border czar Tom Homan to make America safe again. And that is an incredible segue into, okay, let's read her bio real quick. Noem is a rancher, farmer, small business owner, and New York Times bestselling author. Again, it feels like Trump is putting in office people who have experience in being humans. In 2010, after serving in the South Dakota legislature for several years, Noem was elected to serve as South Dakota's lone member of the U.S. House of Representatives. During her time in Congress, in addition to many other successes, Governor Noem helped pass the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which put $2,400 in the pockets of the average South Dakota family. She's been in politics for some time. She's got some experience. She's a firebrand. I don't know a lot about her. I'm excited to see why and how this rolls out. But that's a really great segue into a man, the myth, the legend, Tom Homan. If you don't know Tom Homan by now, you're probably living under a rock. This man is, and I quote, wakes up every morning pissed off at what this administration has done to this country. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you don't follow me on Instagram and you don't follow me here on YouTube, make sure you do that because I share videos and clips like this all the time. But this man went toe to toe with AOC and destroyed him. This clip right here is one of my favorite clips of all time. And I'm going to pull it up and we're going to listen to it. Let's see here. I'm going to pause this.
I got my country 34 years. I've served my country for 34 years. And yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms in back that tractor trailer. I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life was like. And I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed.
Yep.
And you're the member.
We agree on that.
Fix it.
We agree on that, but I disagree.
But I also disagree with your characterization of criminality for 3 decades on this.
Gentlemen,
Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million people enters the United States? You want to know why these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border.
That's right.
You work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan,
Look,
please respect
This part right here.
the chair and the authority of the chair. The
You have-
time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time. You let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we
Yeah.
have
This is
approved
a circus.
an agreement
This is a circus.
between
It is a
the
circus.
Republicans and the
Mr. Homan, it is a circus. I'm excited for your service, Mr. Homan. You have an absolute the first. Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families? Of course there is. Families can be deported together. This is what I'm talking about, people. When it comes to America First, Donald Trump has picked a cabinet that I don't know if it's possible to compete with. I really don't. This man is so passionate. He's so passionate about border security I don't know if there's another man who Trump could have picked and been right about. I genuinely don't. So if you don't know who Tom Homan is, figure it out. And I think this is a great move for the United States. I think that this is. Let's just sit here for a second. The open border is one of the most important policies in the Trump administration. It's one of the most important reasons why people showed up to the ballots in record numbers and turned out. Because when we hear that there are millions and millions and millions of people who we don't know, who the government hasn't vetted, who has no interest in adopting our way of life, who has no interest in understanding our culture and how we do things and why we do them, this becomes an existential threat, not only to democracy, but to our country as a whole. Because the people coming across the border aren't coming here to help America be America. I'll tell you that. And Elon Musk talked about this in the Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was one of the most critical moments in the entire election process where he looked at Joe and he said, you don't have to take my word for it. They are shipping them into swing states to get votes. Go look at the government website. You can find it. It's not that hard. We've got the Google machine. This is what's happening. And I think America is fed up with not feeling like their government. When you hear stories and you're struggling to pay rent, you're struggling with groceries, and you're struggling with insurance, and you're struggling living paycheck to paycheck, and you hear stories about illegals coming across the border and getting debit cards with thousands of dollars on them, they're getting free housing, they're getting free medical, all these free things, people are going to answer. They're going to answer the call to protect what they need to protect. And I think that's what's happening. Borders are Tom Homan. I mean, what a stud. Ladies and gentlemen, your new borders are. Oh my gosh, what a photo. What a photo. Absolutely extraordinary. Kamala's out. Kamala, you didn't do a good job, Kamala. You really didn't. I think it's time for Tom. Okay, let's keep moving on. I don't think we'll stick on too many of these, but obviously another big one, Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. This is a Democrat. This is a Democrat in a Trump administration. I'm speechless. If this doesn't tell you how the United States has spoken, Tulsi's a Russian. That's trending right now. Let's take a look at it. Tulsi Gabbard, Russian spy. Let's see. The absolute dumbest people in the world think Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent and that Putin will now control the intelligence apparatus. Glenn Greenwald. Hillary Clinton hates Tulsi Gabbard so much she lied and tried to claim she's a Russian asset. Then Tulsi's all right by me. Yeah, I mean, look. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's Hillary Clinton, people. So it's crazy. The lineup is going to be wild. It's an A team. This is a Democrat female from whole. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. We've never seen anything like it. A Democrat from Hawaii, national security advisor. Pay attention to this. Whoever the left hates that gets elected, the more crap they talk, the higher likelihood is that Trump made a good decision. Did he make all good decisions? No, he didn't. I don't know that Marco Rubio was a great decision. I don't. Maybe he'll turn out to be a good one. Maybe he won't. Mike Waltz, national security advisor, Green Beret, current congressman, And this guy's an absolute stud. I mean, if you know anything about Green Berets, you know they're absolute studs. He's so let's just do a quick look here. Tulsi Gabbard is going to be the director of national intelligence. Senior cabinet level, required by the Intelligence Prevention Act of 2004 to serve as the head of the United States intelligence community. Okay, so what does that mean? That means Tulsi Gabbard is going to learn a lot of crap. She's going to know a lot of stuff. She's probably going to be a part of the release of the JFK files. She's probably going to be a part of the release of the January 6 files. She's probably going to be a part of the release of a couple of other. I think she's going to get a ton of insight into these non-human biologics, all the conversation around the UFOs and things of that nature. Tulsi Gabbard's going to be a huge part in the very beginning stages of the Trump administration and the pulling back of the wool. I don't think they're going to share everything with us. I don't think they're going to show us everything, but I do think that as soon as RFK gets announced, I'll have a lot more confidence that he's actually going to move forward with releasing the JFK files. And I think that's going to be a huge part of, I think that the director of national intelligence, I think Tulsi Gabbard is going to have a huge part to play in that. Mike Waltz is the national security advisor. So let's do another quick search just so we're all on the same page. National security advisor to United States, White House. So he's assistant to the president for national security affairs, senior aide inside the White House, based at the West Wing of the White House. He's the principal advisor to the U.S. on all national security issues. So he's a Green Beret, current congressman. Now it's Jake Sullivan. Look at that guy. Can't even trust him. Now, this is your new national security advisor. He is, he's got quite the background. And he, Florida native, combat tested, Pentagon advisor, small business owner, proud father. I mean, this man has done it. He's been there. Again, I think that there's too many people who just don't have the chops. This man served his country his entire life, graduated from Virginia Military Institute, served 27 years in the U.S. Army National Guard, retiring during his second term in Congress. He was commissioned as an Army lieutenant, graduated Ranger School, and was selected for elite Green Berets. He served worldwide in special forces with multiple combat tours in Afghanistan, Middle East, Africa. This dude is a badass. That's it. That's all there is to say about it. Mike Waltz, ladies and gentlemen, your new national security advisor, has experience in foreign policy and terrorism, aligns with Trump's national security interests, and the experience is real world, people. He led teams searching for Bo Bergdahl. He was one of the first to publicly call into question President Obama's labeling of Bergdahl as a hero. His servant leadership continued in the White House as well as the Pentagon as defense policy director for Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld. I mean, this guy's, I don't even think I could sit at a computer and type out his resume. I just don't have the patience. It's that long. Next up, we're working through this, people. John Ratcliffe. He is former director of national intelligence. He has now been promoted, side-moted. I don't know what you want to call it. He's going to the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, this three-letter agency is an absolute freaking crap hole. John Ratcliffe has so much reform to do inside of this agency. This agency is maybe, I don't even know if I want to say it. I don't even know if I want to say it on live. Let's just put it this way. John Ratcliffe has a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to do. Donald Trump obviously sees that he has the ability to do it. Formerly the director of national intelligence, was the first to expose the Russia hoax and cover up surrounding Hunter Biden laptop. Now Ratcliffe is to play a key role in declassifying some of the nation's most guarded secrets, the 9/11 files, the JFK files, the Epstein associates, attendees of these infamous parties, and evidence of election fraud. This is the CIA director, people. This is it. We're going to learn a lot. If the transparency continues with the Trump administration, we're going to learn a lot. and he's going to have a huge part in it. We're going to find out. John Ratcliffe fought for the renewal of warrantless spying on American citizens. This is going to be a unique time. Like I said, maybe they're not all great. Maybe some of them are good. But I will say this. He's got a lot of work to do. I don't know enough about him to make a decision. Former Director of National Intelligence, conservative views. And yeah, I think that will be a good place to stop for today. We'll cover the rest of them tomorrow. White House Chief of Staff, EPA Administrator, Ambassador to the United Nations, White House Counsel, Deputy Chief of Staff, Border Czar. We covered him, Tom Homan, Ambassador to Israel, and the great and mighty, powerful Doge duo, the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. We're going live again, people. We're going live again. We'll chat soon. Thank you so much for tuning into the Joe Maga Show. We are doing our best to push against the tyranny of the commonplace so you can live your life on the offense. We gave up too much ground. Let's get it back. Let's get back the ground. We'll be back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. to live stream the rest of the picks. Chat soon.